Warren Sharp was on the morning tailgate, and he kind of summed it up really nicely. So we'll let him do the talking for us. It's night and day. Geno Smith is the most impacted quarterback by great weather conditions. When he plays in a dome, 6.7 touchdowns for every interception. 6.7 to 1 touchdown interception ratio. That is Hall of Fame numbers. When he plays outdoors, it's 1.6 touchdowns for every interception. It's very bad. When he plays in domes, he's averaging 8.2 yards per attempt. Outdoor, 7.2, a whole yard per attempt.
I mean, even 7.2 is pretty good.
Yeah.
And anything over 7 is good.
Up, right? And then there's a whole +1 over that.
Yeah.
His sack to interception rate drops in half. He averages a much higher success rate, much higher EPA per attempt. And then obviously in Seattle, playing the Pacific Northwest, no dome. Obviously, Raiders, Allegiant Stadium, dome. And the away games are with domes: Houston, Indianapolis, and LA. And we talked about this when the schedule came out. We really don't have any real bad weather games at really Philadelphia. And the second class, that's going to be awful. That's probably as bad as
December, right?
Yeah, that's week 17. So that's
going to be rough.
Maybe the worst possible weather. Like, there's a good chance it's going to be snowing, right? So, but a lot of domes, all the home games in domes, Geno Smith in domes. So there's not a crazy amount. He played 10 games in the domes. So this is just the 3 years when he was a starter in Seattle. It's the window that they're using. 10 games in a dome, 39 games outdoors. So pretty small sample size, but the numbers are very stark. Soto, is he really that different based on these numbers, indoor and outdoor?
It's hard to say definitively yes or no. From what we've seen, yes, there is a drop-off. We also have to take a look at how many dome games did he play last season, which was his worst season in Seattle. And we chronicled why it was a bad season. One of the worst offensive lines. His pressure rate was almost 40%. So he damn near almost half of his dropbacks, he was pressured. He had zero running game to speak of. His running backs were injured, and he felt like he had to do more. And I want to know how did that skew last season? How many dome games did he have last season? Because if he didn't have very many dome games in one of his worst seasons, and you also have a small sample size, I can see where you can get that big of a swing. But
just quickly looking at last season for the Seahawks. At Detroit, they lost, but they also gave up 42 freaking points. Not his fault, right?
No.
395
29
yards.
points, dude. I mean, what do you want? You score 29 points and lose. Come on.
29 points. Almost 400 yards. So he played pretty remarkable. Atlanta put up 34 points. Only 207 yards, but put up 34 points. At Arizona put up 30 points, 233.
No, that's open. Isn't that an open air stadium?
Arizona? Isn't it a dome?
Isn't it? I don't know. Let's say it's 3 games then. That's 3 games, right?
And then at LA, which is a dome. And
okay. So 4 games.
30 points, 223.
So 4 out of 17. So yeah, you have if you only have 3 years of data and you have one of those years was one of your worst years, and you had 3 times the games on outdoors as you had indoors. Yeah, I can see where the numbers are skewed that heavy.
Yeah. So it'll be 12 of 17 games in a dome this season. He has in those 3 years, he had 20 touchdowns to 3 interceptions in domes. There's no way he keeps those numbers up. But it is, and again, with small sample sizes, and there's a million other variables, right? With those different, they're playing different teams and all this other shit, right? Travel, blah blah blah. There's a million variables. But when the numbers are that stark, when they're that different, right? They have to mean something. Mental issue. Maybe he's just soft. I don't know.
Let me say this. I get what you're saying, but play devil's advocate here, okay? Devil's advocate here.
Devil.
Whenever
Devil.
Geno Smith was playing his best ball in a dome, it was always a road game. So that's something to think about. He's going to have the bulk of his dome games are going to be home games.
Mm-hmm.
So that could kind of even itself out as far as, coming back to the mean. He may be even playing even better in the dome games now because he's playing majority of those at home. Mm-hmm. So he was playing that good, that well with those stats purely on the road in domes. Mm-hmm. When normally quarterbacks don't play as well on the road. So that's something to think about as well.
Maybe he's just a road warrior, like there's some guys like chips on their shoulders. They like being booed. They want to be, you know what I mean? Are there any quarterbacks who had starkly better road numbers than home? It's something I've never even researched.
I've never really researched it.
I've never even thought about it, but that could also be it. Maybe he's just he's got a chip on his shoulder, right? A little bit of attitude, little
good.
Yeah. Well, what you think you're better than me, right? Yeah, you want that in a competitor, So maybe I don't know. Maybe that's part of it.
Or maybe he's prove, man. He still has a lot to prove. A lot of people very high up in that organization have a lot to prove.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll gets canned and basically begs for his job, and I don't know if they felt sorry for him or something, but they kept him on as a consultant. That's kind of weird. Normally, when you fire a coach, you want him as far away from the program as possible. They kept him on there. He has a lot to prove. I mean, Chip Kelly kind of phased out of the NFL. He's got a lot to prove coming back. Patrick Graham's got a lot to prove. Everyone that I've talked to and that I've heard talk about him says he's a great coach, but, I don't care how great of a coach you are. What's the production on the field look like? So there's a lot of people in that, up there pretty high up that have a lot to prove, and Geno Smith is one of them.
Hey, you made it to the end of our video. Great job. I know you want more. Go ahead and click the next video, and if you're feeling crazy, go ahead and subscribe.